Thank everyone. I want to thank everyone for coming. This is the ANC3F July public meeting at 7:01. I'd like to call the meeting to order, adopt our agenda, and without objection, approve the June 2025 meeting minutes.
Second that.
All right, so moved. Thank you. And we're just gonna plunge right in with Lieutenant Forrest, who I already see is here. Thank you so much, Lieutenant, for being with us. I'm gonna try very hard to be very faithful to our timing today. So I've asked all the members of the commission to both hold us to our timing and hold me to it if I start to go off here as I want to do. So
That's enough, Chair Carlson.
let's hit it. All right.
Okay. Hello, everybody. I am going to be very quick today. I was reading an update that we had on the child's death in 4500 Connecticut last year. It was updated to a homicide. Mr. Pettis was arrested for that and was charged with that. So that being said, moving right into my numbers for today, our numbers are not too bad. We had the one homicide, which was the same homicide from last year for that child that was upgraded to a homicide. So we have that one on our list. We had one sex abuse, which was between two individuals that knew each other. And we had one burglary. I wanted to talk about this burglary because it was so unique. So this happened for that burglary in the 3600 block of Chesapeake. I guess homeowners invited somebody to do some yard work, elderly couple, whatever. And while they were supposedly outside doing yard work, one of the victims went upstairs and realized that all their drawers and everything was open. And by the time they came back outside, the two individuals that were supposed to be doing the yard work drove off, and multiple items were missing from their home. So just be mindful of people coming around saying that, okay, I'm doing yard work. If you don't know them, if it's not a reputable company, please, please, please tell your neighbors, yourself. It's probably not advisable to do so. And what else I have here? So we had two stolen autos. One was recovered, one's still outstanding. And we do still have those theft from auto areas. 2030, I believe it was 2030 Porter. We're giving special attention to that area because there was some theft that was brought to my attention that was happening over there. And also we're still giving attention to the park areas. As usual, if you guys see something, let me know so I can put my officers, at least we could give it special attention. And that's it for me, just in case anybody have any questions. I'm here.
Thank you, Senator.
Does anyone have any questions for Lieutenant Forrest? Okay. Thank you so much, as always, for being here.
You're welcome.
And I particularly think we're all the update on the Dondre Pettis report is I mean, it's not good. It's just we're gratified to hear that there's been movement in the case, and that takes a lot of police diligence, and you know, as always, we appreciate your work on this. Thank you so much.
I do believe
Juanita
yeah. Might have a question.
Hi, Juanita.
Are you unmuted? Here we are. I'm so sorry, Juanita. There we are.
Hi. I'm speaking as a community member. The car that was stolen and recovered was actually my car.
Oh no.
Yeah, it was stolen out of the garage at 3003 Van Ness, where I had been storing. Anyway, long story. I just wanted to know if there was any updates. Did they catch the guy? Is there any updates that you can give on that?
Lieutenant, make it in 30 seconds, please.
Yes. So right now, just just email me. I do not have anything with regard to that at this time, but I will have to refer to the detectives on that. So just email me.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, let's move on.
Sorry that happened to you, Juanita. Mocher, I think it's Owen Cox today is here on behalf of the Mayor's Office of Community Relations.
Hi,
Hi.
everyone. Hello, Commissioners. My name is William Owen Cox. I'm the Ward 3 Liaison for the Mayor's Office of Community Relations and Services. Just one announcement this week on Friday from 3:30 p.m. to 5 p.m. at the Tenley Friendship Library. My manager, Kendall Gibson, and I will be hosting office hours. So if you'd like to stop in and talk about any issues or concerns you want to raise to us, or to stop in and say hello, please do so. Look forward to seeing you there. And I'll put my contact info in the chat. Thanks.
Thank you. Gloria Garcia, Van Ness Main Street, lots happening with your neck of the woods.
Hi, sorry, I couldn't unmute. Gloria Garcia, Van Ness Main Street, our big event in July that hopefully everyone is aware of now is District Fringe. And I want to thank UDC for making it happen, as well as Adrian, Commissioner Iglesias, for bringing it, because it really was fun to see it on the Avenue this weekend. You have some incredible plays going on through July 27th. You can find all the information at districtfringe.org. Tickets are only $15 to support these three amazing theater groups, and hopefully that we can keep it going next year. And our Van Ness Main Street's office has been converted into a speakeasy where people can come and enjoy some refreshments and, talk about the plays, but it's really cool what they've done in our offices. So I hope you'll support it, because we really want to keep it in Van Ness and make it even bigger next year. So thank you to everyone that has worked to make this happen. The other exciting thing is that construction on the doghouse is moving pretty quickly. So hopefully we'll have a beer garden maybe before the end of the summer. I'm trying to get a date from them. So that's really, and we just had our park cleanup. Thank you to Commissioner Guzman and Commissioner Carlson for coming on Saturday and cleaned up the patio, the park, and we're going to continue that. So thank you for keeping the park front of mind. Any questions? Any questions?
For Owen the Mocher, we're still waiting on our fix for the permanent fix for the fence. It's a good reminder, Gloria, keeping the park front of mind.
Yes, front of mind, yes. And I believe we're trying to schedule the next police walkthrough at the park, hopefully by the end of the month.
Yeah, and we're going to request a recycling bin later. So thank you so
Yes.
much. Thanks, Gloria, for all the work to revitalize Fringe. Juanita, you're back on a more positive note. I hope.
Okay, there I am. Thank you, Commissioner. Juanita Gray, University of the District of Columbia. Last month, the commissioners had questions about the mayor had given the university 20 million and given us back building 41 for student housing. And I did not have a lot of the answers. So this week I have our vice president for facilities and real estate, Javier Dusan, online. There has been some changes with the budget that council has approved. So, well, they voted on, they've had their first vote, they have their second vote when they come back from recess, but I will let Javier take over. Commissioner Iglesias, if you can unmute him, please. Thank you.
Yes, good evening, everyone. Javier Dusan, VP of Facilities and Real Estate Management at the University of the District of Columbia. So I'll be quick as well. So you are aware that at the end of May, when the mayor released her proposed 2026 budget, it included $25 million to demolish Building 41 and begin planning and design for a new student housing for the university. Yesterday, we learned that the 2026 local support budget report presented by Chairman Mendelson to the Committee of the Whole indicates that the site of Building 41 on the campus of UDC will continue to be used for the new archives. Right? So, as a consequence, as part of that 2026 budget, the full amount that the mayor had indicated in the fiscal year 2026 proposal for the demolition of Building 41 and the initial phase for student housing has been removed. Therefore, we don't have any money at this moment for this project. The council continues to analyze this budget, as Juanita mentioned. So that's the current situation for student housing as a capital project at UDC.
Thank you.
Commissioner Guzman.
Please go ahead. Yes.
Okay. I just want to make sure I understand. So the archives is coming back and there's money for that and none for housing, or nothing is going in there?
So as of this moment, because this is happening as we speak, the current budget presented to the Committee of the Whole, and I can't speak for the DC Archives budget. I don't know what's in it, but what we had there, or thought we had, based on what the mayor had proposed in late May, which was $25 million for the demolition of the Building 41, and the beginning of the design and planning phase, that is no longer there.
Thank you, Mr. Dusan.
Thanks. I think we'll try and continue to get updates on this from your office and through Juanita as you have them.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Mhm.
Councilmember Fruman's office, we do have Councilmember actual Fruman here. But you don't want to take off our any ability for the regular office updates. I don't know if Santiago or Shantice are here and have any additional updates from the office. Otherwise, we'll move up. Hello.
Hi, Courtney.
Hi, Shantice. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Great. Happy to have you here.
Glad to be here. I actually do not have any updates. Only that we will not have our workday in the ward this month or in August. So we'll start back up in September, and then I'll get you those updates by the next 3F meeting in September.
That sounds like a sensible scheduling decision. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thanks
Have
for
a good
having
rest
me.
of your summer.
You too.
Is Judy Ingram here with the Northwest Community Food? Hi, Judy.
Hi. Hello, commissioners and neighbors. I'd like to first thank Commissioners Guzman and Rothman for attending our opening celebration a few weeks ago. Also, Councilmember Fruman, I can't see, but and Mr. Dusan, if he is still on the meeting. It was a blisteringly hot afternoon, and the two commissioners ended up working on the distribution tables. In fact, Commissioner Rothman got stuck because her replacement did not arrive. So she got about 4 hours in of serving our neighbors. And it was really great to have you there, actually 2 hours, sorry. I just wanted to share a couple of data points with you. Since we started working out of our new location at the beginning of June, we've hosted more than 2,000 pantry visits and served over 600 separate families. 36% of guests served during this time were new to the pantry, which really surprised me. I think we're much more visible in this new location. And of course, the there's a lot of demand for our services. As you know, if you've been, you haven't been hiding under a rock, pantries across the country are suffering significant shortfalls due to cuts in government funding. In DC, 76,000 residents receive SNAP or food stamp benefits, and approximately 40% of them will see a significant cut in their monthly benefits, according to the Capital Area Food Bank. So we expect to see continued increasing demand for our services. We do not receive direct government aid, which puts us in a somewhat better position, but it means that we're triply dependent on our neighbors and our local donors, such as Mom's Organic Market, to keep us afloat. So again, thank you all for the support. And if anybody else would like to come, just visit the pantry. We're there from about 9 to 3, both Saturday and Sunday. And of course, we would welcome you to volunteer as well. Thanks.
Thank you so much. Thanks. Now is the time for community announcements. If anybody has anything they'd like to bring forward that is not otherwise on the agenda.
Please raise your virtual hand if you would like.
Thank you. Okay, I'm going to move on. And if someone does have something and we didn't call on you, you can shout at me while we move to the next item, which is a housing and neighborhoods report. We intended here to talk a bit about the indoor air quality resolution and the follow-up from Mr. Director Hanlon, who was at our meeting last month discussing the budget. Former Commissioner Hewitt, who's the chair of Housing and Neighborhoods, has an injury and she had to go. So I don't have the information for that. So I'm going to move along with a promise to the many, many people who were interested in that issue and in the indoor air quality in their buildings to please remain engaged in this. And we are engaged in this. We are following up on this issue. We know it matters. And we'd like to continue to figure out how we can help. Oh, Terry, are you here? I'm sorry, Terry, I thought you had texted me
Yeah,
that
I
you
didn't mean to
had to go.
interrupt you, but Terry is here.
Yeah, interrupt me, please.
I asked Terry to unmute. So
She
Terry,
texted
good
me
to
saying
go?
she was leaving.
Oh, Terry, you're good to unmute, Terry. Or I've asked you to, so you can do it.
Sorry.
Button. Don't be sorry. There we are. You're on
Sorry,
the
Terry, I must have
spotlight.
misunderstood your text.
Oh,
good.
no, it's okay.
There we go.
Sorry.
You're good to go.
I apologize. I'm using my left hand and my mouse is on the right side, so it slows me down. I do apologize, Commissioner Carlson. I did see the email from sorry, I'm without my right hand and it's been painful, so I've been a little slow. I apologize. If you don't mind, I read the email, but I wasn't, maybe we can talk about it offline because I think I needed more to the response or to better understand the response that was received.
Well, we can table this. I mean, it's definitely, I think this is something that's very important for it to be ongoing. And my understanding again was the intent that we would continue to engage with Director Hanlon because he wasn't able to tell us how the Department of Buildings could help see this issue or help us figure out, where there is a place for us to move forward on this issue that you and many others have talked about as a very important health and safety issue for apartment tenants. And he didn't have an answer, and I think we need to figure out. He had told us that he would look into where there would be an answer, and I want to make sure that we're continuing to do that. So, Commissioner Rothman, do you have any?
Sure, unless Terry, did you want to say something? I just wanted to actually acknowledge what Commissioner Carlson said, because that was my takeaway. And if we could speak about this afterwards, I do have an approach, but I apologize, I'm sure, with your schedule and my work schedule and now my bum hand, I've been a little slow. So I apologize.
We're all doing our best. We got it.
Thanks.
Yeah, just to note,
Commissioner Rothman?
Bobby and I wrote to Director Hanlon, and he did provide an interim reply that he was working on it. His team was working on it, and he'd get back with us soon. So hopefully by our next meeting, we'll have something additional.
Thank you. Appreciate it. That's what I read in the email. So thank you so much for confirming. Thank you so much.
Okay, great. So we have now streets and sidewalks. Amy, do you want to, I'm not sure, are you going to cover this or Paul Harrison? Just in terms of there's been a lot of, and actually I think probably all of us could cover this in terms of, this is really related to, there are two issues here. One is the crossing in Albemarle, which we'll probably cover when we talk about, when we talk to DC Water later. But it does coincide with streets and sidewalks in that there's some ongoing conversation about whether, I think DC Water has said that the crosswalk needs to be closed. And we need to talk about, the safety that's going to happen around that, how people are going to have to cross several times. Commissioner Baird, I don't know if you have anything to add or if we should pause and talk about that when we have the DC Water folks on, as that's part and parcel of their permitting.
We can wait till we go to DC Water.
Okay. Well, that's how it relates to streets and sidewalks, just so everyone knows that everything's connected. The second issue here is safe routes to school. So Commissioner Guzman and I met with the Safe Routes to School consultants at Merch, and that project is ongoing. And I think Commissioner Guzman has a great follow-up, or a follow-up. I mean, it's always going to be great, but.
Yeah, just very quickly. I've been in touch with the consultants and their work on the recommendations is ongoing, but they asked for our help in disseminating the parent, guardian, caregiver survey that they use to develop recommendations. And I've sent that out to the Merch Homeschool Association, who then sent it out to their communities. And I have also been in touch with Alice Steele just to let them know what's going on, because a couple of those intersections also impact their safe route to school. So anyway, it looks like the project is ongoing, and the ANC has been active in soliciting community input.
Thank you. Paul Harrison.
I apologize, I'm on a bus. Just wanted to highlight real quickly a recent success, which was the requested sidewalk on 35th Street between Yuma and Alton has been installed. So if you're looking for a new place to walk, I recommend that.
The 35th Street, that first block behind Bread First.
Yeah, that's correct. It's actually a great place to see the way that GDOT's use different techniques, including the flexi-pave over tree roots and working around people's driveways and other things to put in a sidewalk with minimum amount of disruption. So what's good.
Thank you. Thank you for reporting from the field. It's very authentic. If only you were on 35th Street.
Oh yeah, next time.
We did do, all of us actually did a lot of work on site on that. And I met with residents, on that issue. And so it's nice to see that come to a positive ending. Thank you for adding that in. Parks and watersheds. And this is, Mitchell, I think this may be a Commissioner Bear and Rothman joint production.
I'll defer to Amy if she has something.
Yes, I have something. I have some good news for all the neighbors who love nature and pollinators in the neighborhood. So you may recall ANC3F, we're funding a new native plant program led by our local environmental champion, Kathy Sykes, and with the help from Van Ness Main Street. So this builds on her work on along Van Ness Main Street, Connecticut corridor, and it'll bring native plants to tree boxes on quieter side streets. So places where pollinators can really, thrive in a quieter environment. The goal is to turn the neighborhoods into kind of a connected web of greenery. So if you are interested in having a native garden near you and you live on one of the side streets and you're interested in helping care for it too, please reach out to your commissioner, or you can reach out to me, 3F01 at anc.dc.gov. I'll put it in the chat. And we would love to work with you. And we have a flyer, so you will see that in the coming days. Thank you.
And I would say like that literally gives like pollinators, bees and birds like a place to pop from pollinator to pollinator to keep, it really does ecologically impact to have those, that connected way. That's right? So you could be like a real pollinator hero here, just on your side street. Thank you so much for that. Schools and universities, Commissioner Guzman.
The only update I had was regarding the safe routes to school, which I already said, so.
I may have, there was a lot of overlap, so I might have really mislabeled
That's
that
okay.
section.
I did want to say that the flyer that Commissioner Hoffman, referenced about the side street pollinator project. If anyone wants a quantity of those to pass out to their neighbors themselves, please reach out to one of us and we will be happy to give you a quantity of those flyers for your neighborhood.
We could give it to you digitally and you could post it on your own.
Yeah, on your own social media or whatever.
In the Courtney Carlson less paper route.
I know, right? Yes,
I know,
you are
sorry,
absolutely
guys.
right. Sometimes
I'm a broken record. I know. We need to meet people where they are.
We love
Okay.
you.
Okay, so thank you so much for those committee reports. We're going to move now directly to our regular agenda, and we're very happy tonight to have Councilmember Fruman here. Councilmember Fruman has been working tirelessly on the budget, which is happening now, fast and furious. So we're looking forward to hearing your report on how is it going? How's it going for the city? How's it going for Ward 3? Give us the scoop, and thank you for being here to do it. Adrian? I saw him. I know he's here.
Looking for him. I thought it unmuted you, council member. Here we are. I got him. We're good. We're good. He might not be
All
on.
right, there you go.
Hey.
Well, you're on video too. Thank you, council member.
Yeah, when I tried to unmute myself, it said participants can't unmute.
Yeah, we won't allow that here, but
So here,
for you.
here we are.
We've been burned. We've been burned.
Okay, so the budget, where are we? Let me go through it. I think folks are going to have questions, so I'll try to be relatively quick and leave time for questions if you'd like. So the budget process for FY26 started the day after the second vote for the budget for FY25. One of the things that we experienced, two things that we experienced last year were a real struggle around school budgets that we ended up landing the plane well on, and a real threat to P-keep, which we were able to save at the last minute. I don't think people understood just how at risk P-keep was last year. And we started working on those issues as soon as the ink dried on the budget last year. And before the formal budget process started this year, we had already pocketed wins on both of those things. So our school budgets, Deal would like an additional social worker. MacArthur would like a connected schools coordinator. But otherwise, all of our schools feel like they've been fully funded. And we're going to see if there isn't something we can do for Deal and MacArthur. P-Keep was on the chopping block. P-Keep, I had dozens of meetings around P-Keep. I won't say it's just me. A lot of us worked on this, but we got that turned around. And so P-Keep lives. And P-Keep was funded on a recurring basis, which is a good sign that the mayor will stick with it, but will be staying on top of that going forward. In the budget process, I'm going to focus on things in the ward that we were able to do in the budget process. It's a very, very difficult budget process. We were able to add money for all of the main streets across the city. We were able to add money for all of the villages across the city. On both of those, I had a colleague come to me and say, is that just the main streets in Ward 3 or just the villages in Ward 3? And it's not. It's citywide, which I think helps to protect it. But we were able to help our main streets and our villages. Iona has an important Dementia Navigators project that's a citywide project that helps families contending with Alzheimer's. We were able to restore funding for it. Anita Bonds added funding for the Sibley Memory program. We added a clean team for Friendship Heights at the request of the Friendship Heights Alliance, and we were able to address some tax issues for so others might eat for a project they have in Woodley Park. Then turning to our committee, and the committee I have is Human Services, which has DHS, the libraries, the Office of Cable Television, and the offices of Asian and Pacific Islander Affairs and Latin American Affairs. On the libraries, that was a big thing. The mayor's budget really shortchanged the libraries, would have led to a reduction from 61 hours a week to 40 hours a week. So 1/3 reduction in access to our libraries. Significant cuts to the collections budget that's used to buy new books and ebooks. Our ebooks are in very high demand and the wait times are pretty long. They're expensive. We were able to restore funding to keep the libraries open at the same level as they have been open. We added, instead of a reduction in the collections budget, we added to the collections budget. Councilmember Louis George added dollars for maintenance in the libraries, which is quite important. And so we were able to restore and strengthen the libraries even in this difficult budget. For ACFME, the Office of Cable Television and Moapia, Asian and Pacific Islander Affairs, and MOLA, no significant changes on a dollar basis, but the mayor reorganized the offices of cultural affairs. So we will no longer have oversight over them, but the mayor did a reorg, and I think it was sensible to bring them all together. You know, they shouldn't each have their own grants manager. There's efficiencies from bringing them together, but also respecting their independence. Councilmember Nadeau did another tweak to the organization of it. One thing in this space is that ACFME has money for the Mayor's Arts Awards. And my team had suggested maybe we should take that money for the Mayor's Arts Awards and use it in another way that could be more impactful. And I did not do it. And then the chairman did. So I don't know what I could have done with those dollars, not all that terribly much, but sort of a little inside baseball. The big agency, the billion-dollar agency, the frontline agency that I have oversight is the Department of Human Services. That's public benefits and homelessness services and vouchers. And on that, the mayor had removed the cost of living increase for TANF recipients and had imposed increased sanctions for folks who had not complied with work requirements, which work requirements are actually pretty minimal. We were able to reverse that for 2026, and we're going to have a task force to look at how to deal with those issues. But we kept what's a difficult time for our lowest income residents. We were able to keep some dollars in the pockets of our lowest income families. We also did something that quite proud of, the way in which child support works is if a family is on TANF, only $150 per child in child support passes through to the family. The balance of it is used to offset the cost of their TANF benefits. You're allowed to have $200 per child pass through. Many states do that $200. We pivoted to $200, which results in 600 at not a large cost, results in $600 more per child in the pocket of families that are facing real challenges. A different thing we did in this space is it has an interplay with the federal stuff where, like SNAP benefits, you see in the press that if you have a high error rate, you have to pay a higher level of the costs for SNAP. And we have a very high error rate. It may well be that we have such a high error rate that we benefit from a carve out that Lisa Murkowski got in the bill, because Alaska also has a very high error rate. But we shouldn't have such a high error rate. And so one of the things we did was created an office, an ombudsman for public benefits, to try to address that. And that's a thing that a lot of advocates have been asking for. A different thing that we did that created significant efficiencies and allowed for the other things that we did is if you're in rapid rehousing, you get case management. And if you're in TANF, you get case management. And there are folks out there who are going back and forth between case managers. And we really need to bring some rationality to that. Folks need support, but having two case managers can be more of a burden than a benefit. And so we moved to optional case management in the rapid rehousing context for folks who are in TANF and already have a case manager. And that created significant savings, which is what enabled us to do some other things. A big thing that's out there is that the city will be terminating folks benefits to folks in rapid rehousing at the end of September. The rapid rehousing program, the idea is you get a 12-month benefit, and the hope is that you can then transition to independence. That's not happened. Very few of the people in rapid rehousing are transitioning to independence, and the cost of it has become very high. There's some concern that could lead to additional families becoming homeless and looking for shelter. We did a couple of things in this space. We created a whole bunch more exit options from rapid rehousing in the form of TAH vouchers, DC Flex supports, and some PSH, permanent supportive housing supports. And we worked with the administration to craft how Harbor Light, which is had been a shelter used for migrants might be used for district families and families that are in what's called interim eligibility, where they've yet to establish their residency. So those were significant things that we were able to do in the committee, and so proud of the job that my team was able to do. There was talk about the archives. On the archives, this is separate, but yes, the money for the mayor came up with a plan for the archives that made no sense whatsoever. And the chairman restored the money for the archives in FY 28, 29, and 30. So it's 30, it's like, and maybe 31, like it's $30 million a year starting in a while. And he took away the money for the student housing. Importantly, he also took away money for planning for student housing. And there's some other things that are happening in the UDC space that I hope will be sorted out. But between now and second vote, I met with the chairman about them Friday. I met with the chairman today. I think he's going to be talking with President Eddington in the next days. But that and Juanita, Javier, if you're still on, I plan to call President Eddington to try to help prep him for his meeting with the chairman. Probably not tonight, but soon, probably tomorrow. There's a lot of other things in the budget, but maybe if I can for a moment, because, well, you might have seen the I-82 stuff, the tip minimum wage was in the press, and the ranked choice voting. I'll just put a pin in that those were things, significant action around that yesterday in the budget. We can talk about it in questions and answers if you want. The other thing that I think is very important to this group that's in parallel to the budget is the Rental Act. Well, one is RFK, whole another topic. Happy to answer questions, but let's save that for questions. Is the Rental Act, which got postponed. We were going to have our first vote on the Rental Act yesterday, and we're going to have the first vote in July 28th. There's different camps on this. The mayor had a rental act, and she really insists that it should be what she proposed. And then there are different versions out there. Things that could be important to the folks here. One is provisions to make it easier to evict in a setting in which the safety of another tenant is compromised, or the safety of another resident is compromised. The mayor and the chairman had versions of that were stronger than the versions that Chairman White had in his version. I support the mayor and the chairman, and we'll see where that lands as we move to first vote. Same thing on timelines for evictions. The mayor and the chairman's versions were stricter on timelines for evictions. And I think we need to do that. Councilmember White says, you can establish timelines all you want, but if you don't have the judges to decide the cases, it's empty. But I think trying to move those processes along, the failure to be able to evict where you need to be able to evict has been a problem for the district. And then
Council member.
Yeah.
More minutes, please.
Yeah, just finishing here. The last piece is TOPA, and the mayor wants to really essentially eliminate TOPA for any building built after 2000. I think that's too much. I think that there are some things we can do in the TOPA space, but TOPA has been incredibly successful in Ward 3 recently. You guys have the Avalon on Albemarle. The seller withdrew the offer partly because of a thing that's embedded in the proposed legislation, which is a way to get around TOPA would be to have a covenant on affordability. And so I think the seller thought if we if we withdraw the offer, then we can sell to somebody with a covenant on affordability, which the tenants rejected decisively at the Avalon and Albemarle. Um, and so I think we need to get TOPA right, but I don't think the mayor has it right, and we'll see where this plan lands. And I'll stop there, and if you want to take time for questions, happy to answer them. But otherwise,
we have time for 1 or 2 questions.
Can I ask a question? The TANF versus the rapid rehousing mandatory counseling or social workers, it sounds smart to eliminate so that you don't have both of them having to be mandatory and conflict, but is TANF mandatory? Is there any mandatory social work left mandated in this?
yeah, TANF is mandatory.
Mandatory, okay.
But
Because I
we
think
may-
we've seen, right, the lack of, just to get back to sort of the issues that we've seen here over time is the, is a lack of services for tenants in our neighborhood. And, that's something that I think this neighborhood wants to see is help for people who need it available.
Okay, we got time for 1 question more.
I see Juanita has her hand up.
Thank
Hi, Juanita.
Hi,
This
thank you.
You should be asking a question on this.
Well, actually, Councilmember Fruman, I'm going to shoot you an email. I just want to ask if you can check your email sometime this evening.
Absolutely.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, we're Paul Harrison.
Yeah, just a quick question for the council member about whether he supports or is opposing the current cannabis applications. The Can Art.
I have not weighed in on those. Courtney has reached out asking if there's something that we can do on that, and we're looking at that. I'm skeptical. I don't think that I am going to weigh in on the merits of the application. I'm just not in the mix of it. But what we're thinking about doing is a letter to the effect of, given the way in which this process has gone and where a number of folks have expressed opposition to this application and been prohibited from having their voices heard, it's a situation where the board should give particularly great weight to the voice of the ANC, through which those people do have the opportunity to be heard. So if we did something, I think it would be along those lines. But this was said here, that was said there, I think we get into dangerous territory if we try to do that in one setting and then we'll be called upon to do it in a whole bunch of other settings. So I want to show support for the ANC, but not pretend to elevate my expertise over that of the ANC.
Okay, Chair, you should move on.
Terry? I'm sorry, did
Terry
you say
moves
Terry?
on or Courtney moves on, Mitch?
I think he said
Courtney.
chair, move on.
Oh,
Chair,
sorry.
move on.
Oh, I thought he
I've
said
also heard
Terry.
Terry.
Okay, thank you so much, council member. We actually are going to give an update on sort of where we stand. So if you can sit tight with us for it's just right after this, we would appreciate your just understanding where we are in the process would be helpful.
100%. I got on early so I could hear, and so I'll stick with it and look forward to hearing from you. But for now, I'll get out of your way because Mitch is sending very loud.
Yeah, I know Mitch is doing Mitch is doing the Lord's work here. We're going to go to Matt English and the Linian Outfall Project.
Matt, you've got 5 minutes, please. You're muted. Take yourself off mute.
Now I'm off mute. How's that sound?
Yeah, now you
Sorry,
got 4
Matt.
minutes and 30 seconds.
All right. I am going to shoot through some slides real quick and then take questions. I sent a request to share. Maybe
I
some-
approve that request.
All right. Great. All right. Can you all see what I'm sharing?
Yes.
All right. So, probably about a year ago, I came to you all for the first time to talk about a restoration project that we're doing at the end of Linnean Avenue. And I'm here today to talk about how that project went. And so for those who don't know, the project site here is right at the end of Linnean Avenue as it heads down towards Soapstone Creek. And the area in this box here is where the project was done. And I'm just going to shoot through some before and after photos so people can see what things look like before and after, and then we can talk about questions. So before we had an eroding gully that traveled down the slope here and then moved off to the side. And now we've built some large cascades that are designed to slow the flow of the water and then descend into this wood pile here to dissipate the energy and create wildlife habitat and then continue on to Soapstone Creek. So this is just a handful of before and afters. You can see sort of a small eroding gully in the picture to the left, and it's very narrow, and we added some larger rocks and widened that up so that it's capable of handling larger flows. Again, on the left here, you can see the old stream bed, and there's a lot of erosion where my cursor is, and a lot of down trees that were pushing the flow out of the channel and causing additional erosion. And so again, you can just see sort of these larger cascades that we built to contain the flow. Again, where we saw the erosion had undermined a very large tree here that actually ended up falling down as a result of that erosion. And then more cascades. And then the portion that you can see from the Soapstone Valley Trail, there was sort of a cascade of water that came down where my cursor is here. And now that is a very large cascade with sort of a wood debris pile here, which we call toe protection, which is intended to slow the water as it comes down off that large cascade. Then at the end of the avenue, you can see the warning barrier was covered in invasive species, and we've installed a new warning barrier and a larger inlet so water can be accepted off the road. And then there was another gully that was to the east of the main channel that had eroded, and that was filled in and is now covered in riprap and then dirt, and is going to be seeded soon, and that will hopefully not see any flow in the future. And then if you're interested, we have a little drone video of the project that you can visit on the website, but I don't think we have time for that tonight. It's just 2 minutes if you're interested, and I can drop a link in the chat.
Thank you. Matt, can I ask you a quick question about the barrier, which certainly is an upgrade to have invasives removed from it, so that's great. From a parky and aesthetic-y standpoint, is that the permanent barrier that DOEE is going to have there?
So this is
leading question.
yeah, right. So this is a DDOT property, and there was actually a full-size barrier that looked the same. It was maybe more orange than red there for the last decade.
Yeah. I just thought we were getting an upgrade.
We replaced in kind.
Okay.
if you're interested, I'm happy to chat with DDOT to see if they would be willing to consider alternative barriers there. I'm with you that I understand it's less than gorgeous unless you're gonna wrap garland around it come the holidays. So
Fortunately, because this ANC has been good listeners to Kathy Sykes, we know that even though that the last the before picture is green, we know that's much, much worse. Invasives are bad. So we're glad you got those out of there. Does anyone have any questions?
We have time for one.
No question, just thank you.
Yeah. I would, Matt, this is Commissioner Guzman, I would support an DDOT upgrade to that barrier. So just throwing that out there.
if you'd be willing to send me an email that says, hey, we'd love to see a different barrier there, I can start an email thread with some folks at DDOT to start that conversation.
Oh, great. I will. Thank you.
Thanks, Matt.
Thank you very much, Matt.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Our next item was requested to be moved to September due to a family emergency. So we will move to the ABCA cannabis application update. In the last, since our last meeting, the ANC has had 2 meetings with ABCA, a status hearing at which is the time, no, I'm sorry, I think we've had 3 since our last meeting. The roll call hearing at which the ANC as protesters and other parties were granted or denied standing to protest. What Councilmember Fruman alluded to was that we had a bunch of protesters who are business owners across the street who were denied standing by a pretty narrow interpretation of what directly across the street means. And an interpretation that, when we were looking up the definition of directly across the street, didn't seem to totally follow. So some protestants from our neighborhood who wish to also have standing as protesters were denied standing. And another protester was granted conditional standing. We then had a status hearing at which the applicant's lawyer also objected to the last conditional standing protester, who was John Connor, who is the owner since 1964 of the BP gas station. And then the ANC does have standing because we're the ANC, and our standing does carry great weight. And then today we had a confidential mediation, again with ABCA and the applicants, because that meeting was long and we haven't had a chance to talk together as a group. I don't have a report on that proceeding yet. But I do, the applicants are here and they have agreed to be here to answer any questions from the community. So if anyone wants to ask a question about the process, about anything about the issue, they have made themselves available tonight to answer any questions.
Dave Palm on last 2 to mute. Perfect.
You have a hand up? Or did?
Are you talking to me, Mitch?
Yes.
Yes, hi, sorry, I did not hear that. I'm sorry, could the owners of Canna Art please identify themselves? I'm not familiar with who the parties are and who, could they come off of mute? Is that possible, Commissioner Carlson?
Yeah, I can put them, I can spotlight them so also you can see.
My name is Yared. I'm one of the owners. First name Yared, Y-A-R-E-D. Last name Besate, B-E-T-S-A-T-E.
Great, nice to meet you, Yared.
Nice to meet
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Saimi Ragami. and I am the yard's partner.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I guess I should introduce myself and thank you for the opportunity to ask some questions. I just learned about this application very recently. As many of you know, I'm a former commissioner, ANC3F, and most recently I served for 2.5 years as senior advisor to Attorney General Brian Schwab. The AG's office is, of course, charged with enforcing the cannabis laws in the District of Columbia. So that is, of course, some of the background I have, but most importantly, I am here today as a resident and a neighbor of the proposed cannabis business at 5008 Connecticut Avenue. Thank you both for being here. I'm just trying to sort of piece together the timeline because I was not aware of any of what was going on here in terms of the licensing process and the application process. Could you please tell me when you first opened your doors as Canna Art, which I believe was an art gallery at the time? What month was that and what year was it?
That's was 05, 24, 24.
May of 24.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. And then was the storefront location at 5008 also open at the same time, or was it just like an online business, or what was it?
It was open to.
And what were you selling at that time from 5008?
It was an art gallery and a gifting shop.
Gifting of what?
CBD, CBD and cannabis, ma'am.
Gotcha, CBD and cannabis. What time period were you gifting CBD and cannabis? Was it immediately after opening in May 2024?
For 2 months after that, ma'am. I hear you kind of broken, so if I ask you to repeat, please don't bother. I mean, don't be bothered by that because it's
not at all. Sorry
I don't know
about
if it's
that.
my Wi-Fi, what it is, but the whole meeting has been choppy since everybody started. Yeah, for 2.5 months after that, we kept our doors open with very minimal traffic.
Okay, and did you have a license to distribute cannabis at the time?
No, ma'am. We did not have a license to distribute cannabis at that time, and we were not distributing cannabis. We were gifting it as the city allowed it at the time with the I-71 form that was formed many years prior to that.
So you understood at the time that I-71 was in effect, correct?
I understand. Yes, ma'am. I understand that the time that I-71 was in effect, and yeah, correct.
Gotcha. And where were you distributing it from? Was it from the front of the store, the back of the store, or online?
So there's some curtains back there, ma'am. We have our clients would come in. Many people from the neighborhood came in as well, and we had a few jars of CBD with a lower THC that we behind certain curtains. So there was the curtains there that separated the two facilities, where the art store is and where the CBD store was.
Gotcha. So why the curtain? If this was legal under I-71, why did you have a curtain?
The curtain actually was open, but we just thought that it's like to separate the two, since we were entering the legal market would be nice.
Mm-hmm. So you were entering the legal market. Gotcha. Okay.
Correct, ma'am.
And did ABCA ever cite your operation? Did ABCA ever cite Canna Art for operating outside of the law at any point?
ABCA came in. Yeah, correct, ma'am. They did. You probably know that as well, right?
Well, I don't know the details, so could you please? I don't know. As I said, I'm coming in new on this. Could you please tell me what you were cited for?
We were cited for having displayed cannabis products. They were not specified or tested to what percentage of anything. We have some tinctures and treat for dogs that were CBD with the minimum required amount of the THC by federal law. So they, it was very vague for what they were in for and all that, but they did give us notice that You know, if you're applying to become a legal cannabis, they said, I don't want to see any THC or anything on your shelves. And at that point, we decided to shut it down because we don't want to jeopardize our future of our business, the future of our business. And man, may I ask you a question? You said that you have been away for this, right?
Yes, I'm
So
not
did
left
anybody
home.
brief you? Did anyone have briefed you on our situation prior to this meeting, or are you just coming in fresh?
I'm not coming into this meeting fresh.
Okay.
I have asked for information from the ANC commissioners. They have shared information with me. I'm not currently a commissioner, and nor am I currently an employee of the District of Columbia. I'm a resident of the neighborhood, and as an interested resident, I have asked for information. But because I've asked the ANC for information, I would also like to understand the information from your perspective as well as the applicant, so that I have the full story and can determine whether I would like to weigh in somehow vocally with either as a political matter or as a legal matter. Does that
Correct.
help?
Yeah, I would like to also to know
Okay,
what
good.
what
So-
your position is.
Well, I don't know what my position yet is. I still have a couple.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, so you're
perfect,
gonna help me
perfect.
form my position. How's that?
Thank you, ma'am.
Good. Okay. So what I don't understand is when APCA cited you or visited you or whatever it was, did they issue a fine?
Yes, ma'am.
How much
They
was the
did.
fine?
The fine was, I believe, $2,800, and that was a fine from not from ABCA, but it came from the
Department of Consumers.
Department of Health, because it was not. We could not. It was something very strange, but it was from the Department of Health, not even from ABCA.
So APCA simply cited you but didn't issue any fine?
No, they did not issue any fine, and actually the fine was dropped. I have my timeline written up. I can't remember exactly when or what, but the file was dismissed. I mean that citation was dismissed. Maybe because we closed the store, or I have no idea why it was that, but it was dismissed. And I can give
Sorry,
you the dismissal
I'm
as well.
sorry, I'm confused right now. So the fine that was issued by the Department of Health, did you ever pay that fine?
No, man, because it was dismissed by
Dismissed,
that
who dismissed the fine?
the
Specifically.
Department of Health and the city. That there was a date scheduled to appear in court, and they dismissed that fine. I believe either that day or a couple of days before the appearance.
It was the Department of Administrative Hearings that dropped the charges or dismissed the citations.
Department of Administrative Hearings, was that in a document? Was it in an email, or how was it notified?
No,
Absolutely,
it was in a
document.
document sent to us on an email.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that because both of you were speaking.
A document sent to us on the email, a formal document.
But from who was that from? Do you know? Could you look right now, please?
It was a formal
Department
document.
of Administrative Hearings.
Okay.
So that fine was never paid. It was dropped by somebody at the Department of Administrative Hearings who notified you. Could you take a second and maybe even put in the chat who that person was? Because this is something that I knew nothing about. No one at the ANC informed me of this. And I'm, as somebody who was formerly at an enforcement office, I was wondering whether there was.
And we would have been more than happy to let you guys know about that. It's just we thought it was irrelevant since we were dealing with it internally, and and it was dismissed. May I repeat again, ma'am? You saying could we say who that person was that dismissed it?
Yes, could you let us know who the city employee was that dismissed the fine, or who the
Yeah,
note
ma'am.
was, the dismissal?
Could we do that at a later time? Because I'm not sure if I can find the document right now.
Sure, maybe you could just send it to, I don't know who the right person is. Maybe you could send it to Commissioner Carlson.
Yeah, you can send it to me.
Sure.
And I do want to thank you, Saj and Yared. I know a lot of these questions have been things that you've answered to at least one, if not some of us on the commission. So appreciate you for coming forward.
Yeah. Thank you, Adrian, and thank you everybody for giving us a chance to explain. And And I
So-
just want to catch you up, ma'am. You know, we were extremely upset because we have heard from neighbors that during the time I expressed this in the first meeting that we had with the ANC, and we've heard things like we've been selling cannabis to the cops from our back doors where our store is closed. I don't know who said it, that there's videos of us um, doing so in the back door. And even when this is something maybe that is not from the ANC, but even when our current subleasee, Bold Alley, came in the store, a person that works there with a neighborhood and is a neighborhood came in and yelled at them for selling cannabis, and they said, "Look, we're the subleasing. We have no idea of what you're talking about." They had to like kind of send him out. So it seems like as we talk today, also, this has taken a wrong turn. I don't know for what reason. Maybe because that citation or what it is, but we did not come in a neighborhood to conquer the neighborhood and sell cannabis. We did everything within to the bounds of what was legal with the CBD at the time, and when we were told to stop with minimal foot traffic, we stopped. And I just want to make clear that we did our best and we are doing our best to operate within to the legal limits and within to the neighborhood requirements.
So as I said, I'm coming in on this fairly recently. But the two things that concern me as a resident
Yes,
are number one, that without getting into the weeds, because I don't know the details,
Correct.
ABCA cited you for something, right? I mean,
Correct,
that's
ma'am.
the thing that you shared with us. So
Of course.
that's not a great start. Number two, I understand from conversations with ANC folks, which is why I decided to appear at the meeting tonight, that you both, as co-owners of Canna Art and acting attorney,
May I repeat that again? You broke off. I'm sorry.
sure, that I understand that you and Mr. Yared, acting together through your attorney, Mr. Attorney Whitley, have done everything in your power to silence local business owners who have standing.
No, ma'am, it's not
And
true.
while this, well, hold on. That's not a no, ma'am. I'm sorry. That is a fact. That is
No,
borne
but
out in
could-
some of the documents that I've read.
Yeah, could you explain me what in your mind, what is the fact? Because I said no, and you're opposing to that, meaning that we have to talk about why you say no to that. Why you shut down my no?
It is my understanding that acting through Mr. Whitley, you all have opposed the standing of businesses that are located directly across the street from Canna Art.
Correct, ma'am. And how did we do that?
Excuse me, that is worrisome. The reason why it's worrisome is because you're sitting before a community and you're saying you want to operate within the law.
Mhm.
And you're saying that you want to be accepted by the community. You're saying you didn't
Correct.
come to conquer the community, yet you
course.
have absolutely no attempt to include established businesses in the voices around this application process. So for me,
Ma'am,
the
the
statements are entirely inconsistent.
correct. So the established voices that you are talking about across the street from us, they never came into an ANC meeting to talk to us about what's going on. I believe that the ANC commissioners, again, all due respect, like I said today, I'm not speculating here. This is my feeling, have pushed the businesses across the street to go against us. And we have consumed their products in their facilities, and we have said hello to servers and bartenders. We are across the street, we are Canna Art. I'm not gonna go chase around landlords and owners, because we are a business just like another. Correct. So we have not done anything to silence anybody. We are responding to some to what you guys are talking about that does not make sense to me, because the two things that the ANC is telling us that we are the bad people are, one, with this citation, two, the 21-year-old, I mean under 21, that from the schools that are around in the area in the neighborhood. Both of these don't make sense to me. So I believe that all the effort that was done to push against us is not legitimate, it's malicious. So this is me expressing the feelings. I'm not trying to shut anybody down or anybody up. We simply responded, Mr. Whitley, with the gas station landlord or owner, just simply responded, because I know now we're taking this to another place. Like, it's like, you guys, like, if there's not something you can poke on, they found another way. And as you said, you came into this 50-50. I don't believe you either. Like, it seems that do you know what I mean? You are
We
with the
have
ANC
we have James Alfontes, who's the one of the protesters who was disqualified. He would like to speak to his.
I asked the ANC, what has the ANC done to give us a voice? Just answer, you guys, with onto yourself that question.
My
You
name's
would
James Alfontes.
understand.
Can you all hear me okay?
Hey, James, good to meet you finally.
Oh, good. Good to meet you too. Thank you. Yeah, so just to be very clear, my decision to become a protester against this license is made on my own volition and with my own full and conscious mind. So any accusation to the contrary is inaccurate.
That's good, James. So, James, I'd like to ask you a question. Why are you opposing our application?
So I have attended many ANC meetings over the course of my 22 plus years of doing business on this block, where I own four different businesses, and also I own a building on the block there. So over the course of that time, I have always come first to the ANC, and I have settlement agreements for each one of my businesses that are long-standing. And I think it's important to have community comment and for us to work together collectively to decide what we think is best for this neighborhood and the organization and this. So I appreciate you attending. It seems to me that the accusation that this is some conspiracy against you seems completely manufactured and inaccurate, and maybe just a
Sounds good,
paranoid
James.
delusion within your mind. So
James,
thank you for listening. And to answer your question, it's because a number of community people, not just myself, but a large number of people in the neighborhood who I have had long-term relationships, have established that they would be in opposition of you opening for a
Good,
number
but
of
why?
reasons,
Why
including
you?
for a number of reasons. Well, why me? Because I've been approached by many people that this business would not be beneficial to the neighborhood.
Why,
And
James?
there are people that I trust, that I respect, that I listen to, that I think about, that I trust, and they are in unified opposition of your operation, and they are coming at it for multiple reasons. One is it appears that you've operated illegally, where the rest of us operate legally.
But that's not true, man.
Okay, well, we're all here hearing you now, are we not?
Correct. So, are you aware, James, that as soon as the placard came on, we attempted to. By the way, my email and phone number is on the placard. Nobody from the neighborhood has ever picked up the phone to say, "Hey, dude, what are you doing? Is everything okay?" or all that. Like, it's so. So that's one thing. Second thing is, are you aware that we sent to the ANC an operating agreement or a letter of intent, and that Yard have sat down with Courtney and Sue and sorry to call you guys by the first names, but Courtney, Sue, and Adrian. Are you aware of that, James?
I am aware of that, yes.
Okay, are you aware that there was never a response to that? Because right, to us, we had no idea.
No, I'm not. And to the answer to one of the previous questions is, today we were served by your lawyer an opposition to my protest for my ability to be able to speak to the ABRA regulatory and agency. So your lawyer is opposing my right to speak. So there's no grounds for you to even say that you've come to the ANC or asked me for my opinion, because when I did express the opinion, I've been served by your lawyer with a request for me not to be able to have my opinion heard. So
Well,
as we are talking out of both sides of your mouth here.
Correct, James. And James, did ABCA
Why are you
tell
opposing me being able to protest you?
Because you don't have any standing. They told you already that you're not
Well, first
directly
of all,
across the
that's not for
street.
you to decide who has standing in this. The agency decides.
Well, if that's not for me to tell you that you don't have that you cannot protest.
Well, I'm
what
here
is-
to tell
what-
you that I do have standing, so it's irrelevant. The agency will
That-
decide.
That's what I'm saying, James. So you're telling me I should not open my business that I put
But
six
why are
figures in
you
it?
trying to shut down my voice in protest of your
Because I'm
business?
not just so not look James, is not your voice. It's just that the reasons why you are coming at us are not correct. They're not legit. They're not the truth. You're telling me that there is a I mean the citation. So you're telling me that I done illegal things and I will continue to do legal
No,
things.
I described to you the reason why I've joined the chorus of protests here, and I've described it to you in this meeting.
Which is the citation, right? So
no, it's that I am joining in a chorus of people that I respect and work with and live with that are in opposition of your license, and that
I know,
so
James,
you can tell me I'm happy to listen
to
I'm happy to make the protest, and I'm happy to listen to your
Correct.
opposition of my protest.
Okay, so are you happy? Are you happy to listen to me right now, or you already have made up your mind? So this is the first interaction that I have with you.
Right, it is. Right.
Correct. So are you happy to listen to me right now, or
I am happy.
Okay,
to listen.
so
I'm here to listen.
As I explained to ma'am just a second ago, or a few minutes ago, we are in no interest to operate an illegal business or to not work with the ANC. We have also in that operating agreement that I would like to share with you, we have gone above and beyond to please the ANC, or the things that we did not even have to do by law, correct? I didn't even have to appear in this meeting today by law. We appeared as soon as the placard got posted, we appeared to the first, second, third, and this is the fourth meeting that we are appearing. So if I did not want to work with you guys, why would I even try?
Well, because
yeah, correct. I guess
listening.
it's the question, right? An open-ended question, but my interest, the neighborhood, the community means a lot. But I find certain things like saying that we have been selling to the cops weed behind the back when we were closed, when we're struggling to pay rent here because we've been closed for more than a year. You know, it doesn't settle right. So it's not a conspiracy theory. These are true things, right? And you, the ANC, not you personally, getting attached to certain facts like the citation that got dismissed, that we did something illegal when we have not, is it shows that you just pushing that button more and more and more, and I don't understand why. I don't understand why nobody's opposing in our side of the street, for example.
I mean, I wouldn't say anybody knows, the people opposed who wanted to oppose. We also have Nick Gill on the line. He's another protester who was dismissed. I don't know if Nick, you wanted to say anything, because it's a good opportunity for everyone to hear from each other. I know this has gone long, but it seems if I would just look to the commission, because this is going long, but I think this is a productive conversation where both sides are being.
Thanks, Courtney. First of all, I'd like to thank Sue and Courtney for really an incredible job at bringing this to my attention. But I want you to know, sir, that they did not inspire me to oppose you. In fact, it is my experience with pot shops in Georgetown, across the street from my office, where I watched a pot shop turn into a drug distribution point for fentanyl, heroin, and
No,
crack.
no,
But
sir.
that's my experience, and that's why I'm opposed to your shop. I'm also opposed to your shop because, as you know full well, medical marijuana is nothing to do with medicine. If it was, it would be distributed out of drugstores. You know that, and I know that. This is to get young kids high, and it stinks.
Mr.
And
Nick,
so
may I ask
that
you a
is my,
question?
I'm sorry,
Did you
sir,
oppose
that's why
Mr.
I'm
Green?
opposed. That's why I'm opposed, and it has nothing to do with
Did you
the
oppose?
ANC
Did you oppose
commissioners.
Mr. Green? Did you oppose Mr. Green's in your neighborhood?
I didn't know about Mr. Green, but I would have
Okay.
opposed it.
Okay.
Now, as you know,
we're not.
as you know, sir, I own 10 pieces of property across the street, directly across the street,
Sir,
directly across the
I'm
street. Let me say
sorry.
that one more
I'm
time.
sorry you had that. So, sir, when you say to get
Okay.
kids high, what age are you talking about? What do you
I don't
consider
know
as
who
kids?
you're going to sell it to, sir, and I don't know what kind of business is going to happen behind your store. But I know what happens at pot shops because I saw it happen in Georgetown across the street from my office.
Nick, I sense certain energy from you, sir, and I'm sorry that you feel that
You
way.
bet.
You had that experience.
I have a
in
lot of energy.
Georgetown. Yeah, I'm sorry.
I'm-
It's the
I'm
wrong
gonna
energy
go
to direct
to,
towards
I'm
me.
gonna go
I'm not
to
going to tell you
the
any
other
personal
questions,
information.
Nick. I'm gonna go to the other questions, Nick, and I'm gonna do it because that's not productive, but clearly not someone I coerced into getting involved. Deepa.
So while this has been going on, I did take the time to look up the citation. I'd just like to clarify because I feel that Mr. Ragami has absolutely downplayed what the citation was for. Let's not lose sight of the fact that these are serious violations. ABCA itself on its form, and I'd like this record to show this, so please give me the opportunity to read it. ABCA cited Canna Art for 1, illegally selling cannabis or knowingly engaging or attempting to engage in the purchase, sale, exchange, or delivery of cannabis in violation of DC Code sections 7-1671.08, subparagraph F. Number 2, illegally manufacturing, cultivating, possessing, administering, dispensing, distributing, or using cannabis on the premises in a manner not authorized by Chapter 16B of Title 7 of the DC Official Code. Number 3, illegally displaying advertising or signs related to the price of cannabis, displaying cannabis advertisements on the exterior of a window or interior of any door, or making cannabis advertisements visible to persons on public or private space outside the premises. And number 4, illegally making claims that goods or services provided by the operation are compliant with the legalization of possession of minimal amounts of marijuana for personal use initiative of 2014. And let me also just clarify, I just looked up that I-70 fund was not in effect at the time that Mr. Ragami was selling and Mr. Yared were selling or distributing or gifting, whatever they want to call it. Those are semantics. They did not operate with the protection of I-71, to be clear, which is why ABCA issued this citation. If they had been operating during the safe harbor, ABCA, who knows these rules, would not have issued this citation. So it can't possibly be, Mr. Ragami, that you are operating legally.
Correct,
Why
ma'am. So
would ABCA show up? And why would ABCA show? Let me finish.
Yes, ma'am.
Why
Let
would
me know when
ABCA show up? I'm sorry. Would you let me finish, please? Why would ABCA show up and cite you and cite your operation if, in fact, you are operating legally? The two simply do not make sense. So that's number 1. Number 2 is, while you're sitting here talking about community, I'm listening to 2 longtime business owners in the community with legitimate concerns, whose voices you have silenced, a third who is not here today because your lawyer filed an extremely intimidating and harassing motion against that particular would-be protestant. So let's be clear. You have silenced people's voices. You have operated outside, you have operated outside of the law for which you were cited, and you have done so All of this is taking place within 50 feet of a crosswalk that is a safe route to school, as designated by the District of Columbia for 3 major schools. So you can say what you want about whether or not, but I've heard enough in
Right.
this meeting.
You
know
you
that
already
I
came with a
absolutely
decision
oppose.
already made. I already
I
know.
came with a lot
I
of
can't tell you anything.
information, and what I've heard today confirms that I do not support this. And I hope that Councilmember Fruman is listening. And I hope that Councilmember Fruman will not just take a stand on the procedural issues in this particular situation,
Yeah.
but will also take notice of the substantive
Okay.
issues and
That sounds good.
communicate directly with ABCA and with Mayor Bowser, because this would be a grave
Yeah.
mistake. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am. But
Welcome.
just to respond to why is like I had a feeling you had come with a decision made, just like everybody, every meeting. Obviously, if Nick is telling you that we're gonna sell fentanyl, of course you're gonna raise everybody's ears and all that. But that is not the case. That had never been the case. Uh, I have 4 children, ages of 4 to 14, and I'm a very good father, and I'm a very good educator, and I do not support none of that. So you guys are telling me that we're gonna sell fentanyl and all that. Like, I mean, there's nothing for me to convince anybody. Well, how am I gonna convince you guys when there's these extreme allegations that also has not happened? So I don't know. You told me that you came here 50-50, but I don't think so. Thank you so much for your time, and please let me know if you want to resolve or ask any question to resolve it, not just like adjudicate me and point fingers at me for things that are not correct. Yes, the citation is correct, but the citation also have been dropped by the same entity that gave it to us, and the same entity that has given us the license says today that that citation is the past. So if you want to take the citation and scare the people in the neighborhood that we're going to sell fentanyl, you that's what you guys are doing. I mean, then call me a conspiracy theorist.
Let me be really clear, Mr. Ragami. I have never, ever had a conversation with James, I don't know his last name, James or Nick Gill, ever. I've never met them, and I've never had a conversation with him. I am basing my reaction and what I hear today on a
Yeah.
number of inconsistencies in what you are saying.
But
A
what is
number
the
of
inconsistency, ma'am? I'm sorry. I'm sorry to take y'all's time like this. It's
That's okay.
I mean, I
there's
think
no
this
point
is an
for me.
important issue, and
If
And look, if you want to put your money where your mouth is, Mr. Ragami, why don't you and your lawyer huddle together
yes,
and allow Mr. Olifantes, allow Mr. Nick Gill and any of the other
Connor.
businesses that have standing to actually appear at the ABCA hearing, whatever the protest hearing, whenever that is.
ma'am,
What are you worried about?
ABCA,
Why are
ma'am,
you
I'm
worried
sorry.
about?
That's not me. ABCA does not allow that. Is that true, Courtney, or not? ABCA said that they don't have standing. I cannot tell ABCA what to do. You guys are asking too much for me.
You did tell ABCA what to do.
No, ma'am.
You filed a motion.
Okay, so
You
now
filed a
now
your
we're
your
now
lawyer
we're
filed a motion that asked
okay.
for them to be
And that
Courtney.
motion
Okay.
is dangerously close to
Okay.
harassment and intimidation.
Okay, Courtney, did we show up with a lawyer at the first meeting? No, right? Did ABCA say to Miss, and I'm asking this to Miss Elefante and Nick and everybody else, did ABCA say that you guys are not directly across the street? This is the law for cannabis that is not correct, is not the same as alcohol, and you don't have standing unless you're directly across the street. I had no idea. I came into that meeting to talk about, so you tell me I influence ABCA now.
No, I mean, I think none of us are fluent in ABCA, but what was ruled on was a very narrow definition of directly across the street that is exclusive,
But
not
did I say
inclusive.
that? Did I
Just a
say that or
second.
ABCA?
Can you let me finish my sentence, please? And the narrow definition, excluded those respondents. One was granted conditional standing, and that protester was then had a motion filed against that protester by your council, you know, which was also, you know, made that person not interested in being involved in the case because of
I think
that
he
motion
got
was
dragged. I
filed.
think he got dragged into the case because he was just the only person standing. This is also my opinion. I think you guys, you or Sue, going there with a computer trying to drag the guy into the case. Look, Courtney, as I said
I
previously,
mean,
I have no
I would
interest.
say, Mr. Ragami, that if you knew who you were talking about within this neighborhood, Mr.
Yes, yes.
Nobody would think that anybody can drag Mr. Connor, Mr. Alifantis, or Mr. Gill into anything.
I honestly
I
don't know.
don't,
My standing has been the same as the first day when I presented myself in the first ANC meeting. I explained that there's been stories that amplified us that we've been selling illegal cannabis and who God knows what, now that I hear fentanyl for the first time, behind our back doors. When we were struggling to pay rent out of pocket, if we did not believe in this community and in this, we would not go this far. Now we are too far in the process and we made that investment and everything is a surprise to us. So if you are sitting there saying that I'm putting all my money, so put your money where your mouth is, right? Like man said before. If you think that I'm putting all this investment and all that to then ruin it for doing something illegal, this is nonsense to me. It's like you guys are not considering my business position and
then
my
can you
personal.
then explain here, then this is a great opportunity for us to have this conversation. So if you could answer this for me.
Yes.
There is no I-71 after January 2024.
We've been closed, Courtney, for all this time since that
You
citation.
didn't open until May 24th of 2020.
Well, Courtney, I-71 did not, the CBD is 0.03%. It's federally legal. I don't know why ABCA went against it. Like they said you're not
I
allowed.
don't think they cited you for something that wasn't to be cited for.
Correct, Courtney. So there's a glass shop in H Street where the owner is my friend. He sells CBD products that are used like just 0.03. They can travel across state lines and everything. ABCA went and cited him too.
I can't parse like the investigation. I'm just
Correct.
looking at the facts.
That's what I'm saying. But the facts also
of ABCA citation, which Deepa just read, listed, you know, not that you were selling a legal CBD. So I don't like, again, I don't like, I was hoping that this was seeming productive because people were asking questions and people were getting answers. I think we have one more question and then we're gonna move on.
Yes.
Anita?
Just for the record, we have not sold illegal cannabis through CanArt in that store. I just want to, this is my stand and it's always the same. That's why I do not
Contrary to the
accept nothing
citation
else.
that was issued on August 6, 2024.
Yes, Courtney.
That's the information.
Correct, Courtney. But there was not given a chance to us to go to court to tell him that this is not cannabis and this was not for sale. Do you understand? Like, so if we had that citation and we had an outcome that said that we have been, because you can convict somebody, you can say, hey, you can convict somebody of a crime, but unless it's proven guilty, right? So we didn't even have that chance. So if we were sitting today, had the citation, and it said in the citation, oh, sorry, we were wrong, which also it does say that by dismissing it. I
don't have
just don't
any
understand why you
information
guys are like just
where
pointing.
ABCA, and we don't have any information where ABCA said we were wrong.
Look,
I'm gonna let Juanita. I'm gonna let Juanita. Like, I don't think this is.
Okay.
I don't think we can get to like.
Continue.
I'm looking at a citation
Continue, please.
issued by my city government.
Yeah.
It says
Yeah.
illegal activity was occurring.
Correct. Yeah.
And that is information upon
Correct.
which the ANC is
yeah, but you listen to that when you want to listen to that. When ABCA said today that doesn't hold water, so why don't you explain to the community that? Why don't you explain to the community that it was dismissed?
So
You understand what I'm saying? You're
Mr.
pushing
Regami, I
only.
want to remind you, Mr. Regami, I want to
dismissed it?
remind you that the proceedings that happened at the mediation today are confidential. They are not to be discussed.
But no, but
Please
I'm
don't
sorry.
mention anything that
No.
happened today. It was confidential. It's not to be discussed. Those are not my rules. Those are APCA's rules.
Correct. But all right. So you guys
So maybe it would be
are
helpful.
you silencing me right
Maybe
now?
it would be helpful for you to tell us who dismissed it so that we can understand that process. I
Yared,
think you told
may I
Deepa
please
that you would get back to us on the
disclose the
information of
agency
the
again?
person.
Say that
Pardon?
again.
May you
Oh,
disclose what the agency is? Is there a way for you to look it up on our
No,
files?
I did a FOIA. I tried to look it up. I wanted to understand this process. Like, I feel like an elected representative, I've told you this before. I lead with what I think is right for this community.
Correct.
I have spent a lot, countless hours trying to get educated about what this process is, including filing a FOIA request from ABCA so that I would understand. So I got a warning letter, and in my FOIA request, which should have contained any additional information by law related to that warning letter, as in addition to, I mean, I'm not a lawyer, so someone who's a lawyer on here can tell me if I'm right or wrong.
Look,
but it would seem to me that if there was a dismissal or some additional information that talked about, oh no, sorry, we got this wrong, that would show up in a FOIA request. I asked for that.
Oh, so you're
I
assuming
want
that
that
doesn't exist.
information.
Okay,
I
we
want
can
to
send that to you.
understand what the process is.
Okay,
So I'm
so
going to go
if
to
I give you that
Juanita
letter, would
because
that change anything? Am I still a bad guy?
let us know who did the dismissal, and then then we can follow up with that so we understand why that wasn't in the
I can email you the dismissal paper. I have
Can
it.
you tell us, who the person was, and tell us,
Right.
how that went down?
This is also my
That's information that's helpful.
this is also my problem
This
with
is
how you
Office of
how you
Administrative
guys.
Hearings. That is who dismissed it.
But this is also my problem, how you guys lead the hearings, that you go to conclusions before you even like consult or talk to us or anything like that. So it's it's all due respect, but it is disturbing. And yeah, you guys are doing a great job, but also don't lead to conclusions, like, because you make people believe. I mean, hearing things like I heard today, like the fentanyl and all that. And I'm sorry, Nick, all due respect to you. I don't know you. I don't have nothing against you, but we're not here to raise a drug war or to fight it. This is the business, a legal business.
I don't want to cut you off, but I think this is a
please,
great
yeah.
place for me to support you.
Get the
So
last two,
I
yeah.
will say that I do think the vast majority of the neighborhood is well aware that that's not your goal. And
Correct, thank
if they
you.
aren't, then I would like to reiterate that as
I
far as
appreciate.
I'm aware of the actual published research behind it and the reason we have a medical cannabis program, there's no substantial reason to believe that a medical dispensary opening will lead to an increase in illicit drug sales beyond cannabis from that. I don't think that's a common belief, and I don't think it's necessarily founded in science from my understanding, but that's just my understanding, and I want to echo that from my understanding from what I've heard from the neighborhood. There are plenty of people that oppose your opening. I will, of course, admit, like everyone else said, zero of them have voiced that concern to me. So I just want to support you in that regard. I don't think that, and I just think I have to speak up there.
I appreciate it. I understand why.
Let's
Nick,
go to Juanita for another comment.
Thank you. Thank you, Chairperson Carlson. I just have after preference, I'm asking as an 11-year community member in Van Ness, outside of my position with the university. I just have a question. There's multiple in Ward 3, there's multiple cannabis dispensaries. There's 1 or 2 in our community, or up on Tinleytown. Can someone explain what the difference is between this particular one and the ones that are already open? I'm trying to understand why so much has happened in the past couple of months.
Is it a question for me, Juanita?
Yeah, if you're asking
anyone who wants to answer,
if you're asking me,
no particular person.
I think there was a period of time when applications were open for people to apply to enter into this legal market. And that's how that process is occurring, and that process is now playing out now. I would also say that in my understanding from talking to other ANCs and reading the news, there has been a lot of controversy about a lot of these shops opening, where they're opening, their proximity, how they fit with the neighborhood. Matthew Fikes. Hi, Mr. Fikes. Do you see him, Adrian?
Yeah, he needs to,
Looking and I do
unmute
not.
himself. There he is.
Okay.
Great.
Oh, can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
There you
Okay.
go.
I was trying to unmute. Okay. I'm
right,
just gonna make this brief. I was actually trying to just listen and not say a whole lot, but we know there are people that use marijuana for different reasons, and I'm not opposed to anybody trying to do business and make money. There's a reality in DC and in this neighborhood from people, from youth, different individuals that are smoking weed and using drugs. And then some people are using it for medicine, some people are using it to get high. I stay in a Connecticut house. Several of you know me. Just the other day, I came across two individuals that were high as a kite. They looked like they could have been on cocaine or PCP or something. They were so high, they got banned. The dude couldn't even walk up the stairs. He was banned from the building. It was a very weird situation. I used to work in the youth jail, where a lot of the kids were ODing on fentanyl. There's a reality, and I'm not even saying to Rami, or I don't want to get your name wrong, but the two gentlemen. Yeah, okay. So, we're all trying to do business and make money. There's a right way to do it, but there's a reality of how businesses infiltrate neighborhoods, and there's a reality that some people have and some people don't have with how drugs deal with a community. And the reality is we will never know what you or anybody is really selling out of their place. I mean, you can probably see marijuana, CBD, whatever you want to call it. We will never know the reality of what you're doing. But the reality of society and DC and what's going on in politics that a lot of politicians don't see is that drugs don't just stop at weed. They go to LSD. They go to the next level of drug. It's just a reality.
Yeah, and Matthew, would you categorize alcohol as more fatal than weed?
I'm not here to talk about the different types and how everything.
Correct. Well, you
know what I'm
mentioned.
saying?
I hear you, man, and this is our responsibility to control it because.
And you can't. You can't.
Well, we can within our. We can within.
There's kids coming over here, this area from Southeast and Northeast and different areas that a lot of people on this line don't even recognize because they're not in that world. That they come, and because of the vouchers and situations that they come in getting places in these communities, and we've had a lot of meetings on this. They're getting high as a kite. We had a shooting down the street as a few years ago in front of the Zips Cleaners because of activities going on. So and I'm not speaking against him. I'm saying there's a reality that we just don't know about. And so when you're saying, well, if you want to sell weed, whatever, and that's not going to cause a drug, I'm not saying that's going to cause a drug war. What I'm saying is there's a reality of when weed is being sold, people are getting high. It ain't just all medical. Let's be real. It's not just all medical. People are getting high. When they get high, scientifically, when they get high, they want to look for the highest high. So they go from weed to LSD, heroin, PCP, all that stuff. It's happening all over Southeast, which is what raises the murder rate and the crime in the area. So they come to this area.
I want to allow the council member Freeman to speak.
Matthew, may I respond to Matthew?
Well, you can ask the council member. He has limited time, so.
May I respond to that?
Can you hold off, sir? Let me. Oh, no.
You're good now, council
There you
member.
are.
My
You're
bad.
fine. We can hear you.
I can't see you now. I don't know what's happened. So, and I kind of like to, there you are. Okay, great. So a lot is being put on the table here. There is a species of complaint that is like the one that Mr. Fikes just raised, and it's related to a question that Juanita asked about why are there more of these places. And the city is trying to get rid of the I-71 shops, and the city passed laws to legalize medical marijuana. And the comment that medical marijuana, there's nothing medical about it, true. This is the way in which the city is legalizing marijuana and regulating it. And so there is a species of protest here that marijuana is bad and marijuana is a slippery slope. And I would advise the people who are making the protest not to make it on that basis, because that's a dead end. That for APCA, they are on a project, and the city is on a project to get to a regulated market. And so I think that's not a useful argument for folks to make. As I've been listening to this, there's a couple of different documents, and maybe people will send me additional things. There is the citation and what the citation is about, and the dismissal, and the operating agreement. And to the extent that there is a protest, it may be that there is something about that citation and the way in which that citation has been responded to that calls into question the bona fides of the applicant. If that proves to be true, that's a basis to be protesting. If there are other violations that there is evidence of, that's a basis to protest. If there is the idea that it's close to a crosswalk that's safe routes to school, again, a basis to protest in the broader scheme of things. For me, I would like to see those documents. I would like to understand, as you do, Courtney, to fully understand what that citation was for, when it happened, and why it was dismissed. I'm actually curious to see the proposed operating agreement. But I think this conversation, if to the extent that it strays off into marijuana is the road to fentanyl, I don't think that's constructive, because it's exactly the reason why we're trying to move to a regulated market. So we had a situation where a bunch of kids at Key School took gummies, and they ended up going to the emergency room, and those gummies were tested and they had fentanyl. And they probably came from an I-71 shop. I'm not saying it's yours, Mr. Gami, but they came from an unregulated setting. And that's part of the reason why we're trying to move in this way. I'm not trying to say that this application is valid. I think, the fact, and again, I know I'm going to make people mad. I mean, there's an applicant who is trying to stand on their rights, who feels under siege and is challenging the standing of anybody who's challenging him. That's the world. I mean, it might be right, it might be wrong, but that's the world. The ANC becomes the one voice here. I have said I want to support the ANC in what it is trying to do and urge that it get great weight. But I think that great weight, to the extent that you hope to have any traction with APCA, it's going to be on pretty narrow things. And it goes to the violation, and whether or not, what's the nature of that violation, and whether or not that violation creates a strong concern that there's going to be future violations, goes to proximity to kids. But I think that I'm listening, and Courtney, I know you call me tomorrow, you'd be super, super frustrated.
No, I'm happy you're here listening. This is the process. This is the
okay.
engagement in the process that we are looking for.
Okay, so I will tell you, Deepa, you know, you're wonderful. As I've been listening to this, I honestly have more sympathy for Mr. Ramagami. I mean, I think he has been under siege for an hour and tried to keep his patience. I think other people who listen to this, when the APCA folks are hearing this and the way in which this is being approached, I don't think you're scoring points. I think you got to stay focused on the key things and get to the bottom of that. But I it's probably a mistake to say that I think this has, I'm worried about the violation. I'm worried about the placement, but you're not winning me in this hour.
Well, why don't we leave it at that then? Thank you for that. Thank you for your input and thank you for hearing the conversation about this. And we're gonna go to our next item, which is the DC water update.
Okay, I'll turn it over to either Jarrell or Emmanuel or Peter, who's going to do a 5-minute presentation on where you guys are at.
Hey, good evening. I'll be really quick. Give you an update on the project. 32nd and Albemarle will continue with the manhole excavation. That's been going along smooth outside of the weather. We did notice there's some construction taking place on Connecticut Avenue. Currently, we're looking to get some more information on that, but that's not a part of our project, just so you're aware. In the upcoming weeks, we plan on beginning installing that additional bypass. That's once we get to a certain depth with the manhole excavation. So that'll be running to the crosswalk at Connecticut and Albemarle. We plan on beginning that work and closing the crosswalk on July 31st. And that's the update for right now. Any questions?
Okay. Yeah, are there any questions from the commission or from the community?
Paul, are you still on? Did you feel like these questions of the crosswalk have been addressed in ways that you know, from a DDOT and safety perspective?
Thanks for the question, Commissioner Carlson, and I do appreciate Jarrell and his team members coming out and meeting with me and Commissioner Bear and some other neighbors to look at this issue. We did point out to DC Water the existence of DDOT and federal policy that says that crosswalks and sidewalks are not to be closed during construction. They should be providing a protected lane out into the roadbed of Connecticut to go around this rather than requiring people to make a 5-minute pedestrian detour, including you know, young kids going to Franklin Montessori and the seniors in the neighborhood. This is one of the more dangerous intersections on Connecticut Avenue already, particularly because of the car wash issue, which DDOT has also not been able to come up with a rationale, a way to address. Unfortunately, I think unless we're able to get DDOT to take another look at how its public space staff allowed this traffic control plan to go forward without following proper guidance and in a dangerous manner, it looks like this construction is going to go forward. I just want to make sure everybody is very careful about crossing there and put some extra time into their walk and avoids what unfortunately we are going to see, which is people walking out into an active traffic lane in Connecticut Avenue because of this construction. So let's hope that the duration will leave us without any significant incidents.
Commissioner David?
Sorry. Thank you, DC Water. I had a question about
just notices to the neighborhood when there is a water shut off. There was a water shut off a couple weeks ago around 4740 Connecticut Ave, and just wanted to ask how, just what's the process to just notify people of any water shut offs?
Yeah, this is Kira Tinubu. Usually what we do, they will do a test shot. The operation department is going to send, they put a door hanger, the 48 hours door hanger. So just let people in the neighborhood know that we're going to shut the water off. Then at the day of the shut off, they will put another door hanger. So that's the process. That's how we do throughout the city.
Who do you normally send your notices to? Is there a general, like a social media announcement as well? If it, are there multiple ways to do the announcements? Because the last water shut off, a message didn't go to the impacted residents.
Okay, there's two pieces. If we're doing the shut off like a small diameter water main shut off, that's a CIP operation. We have a manual, we put on our website, we communicate it, we do email blast. So they do a lot of stuff, to let people know. Then on top of that, they put a door hanger. They will actually put a door hanger and they give you a phone number where to call if you have any question. So that's for scheduled work. But if it's an emergency work, like operation, what they do, they don't go into detail like, for a scheduled work. They actually put a door hanger. They will send a crew to put a door hanger to all affected customers. So we do it 2 ways.
Okay. All right. I think we'll probably have to, I don't know who I talked to about the emergency notices that just, they just happen suddenly. I think there needs to be a better process for that.
So if I can add something, Commissioner David, this is Emmanuel. So to add to what Peter's saying, if there are emergencies, depending on the level of emergency, we do have varying levels from levels 1 through 5, depending on 1 being the lowest is something that could literally, in prioritization of issues that happen in the street, if there are things that can actually wait, those things can actually wait up to 60 days before we address, up to 60 days, it could be less. If there are level 5s with literally, say a water main break, where water is running to the point where you can literally see portions of roadway buckling underneath the pressure of water, those things we get to right away. Now, the downside of level 4s and 5s are those things that so, especially 5s, those things are so severe that we often do not have an opportunity to provide a notification. The crews just kind of jump right in to address those things. We are, just to let you know, our CAO, Kirsten Williams, is constantly working to try to figure out a way within our operations team to even find a way to better notify even for those situations. But currently, those level 5s, they are such that they just kind of jump right in, and it doesn't give them opportunity to kind of do that door-to-door kind of door hangers that Peter has mentioned.
Yeah, I think especially that level 4 to 5, when you have like multi-level occupancies, maybe I don't, maybe like social media posts and next door neighbor post, just a notice to the general ANC, so because at least we could send it out to different building managers, because that was a recent incident where just everybody in the building was just kind of wondering what was going on and there was no notice. So
Gotcha.
I would appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, we do. And one last thing, we do also have notification alerts that customers can sign up for. To that point, that's one thing that we do already have. If customers sign up with us, whenever we do have emergencies, no matter what level, we can send you those automated alerts. It could be text message, it could be robocall, but it will basically tell you there is a work zone alert in your area. Water will be shut for, you know, a certain amount of time. So customers can sign up for those to the automated alerts. And I can put that link in the chat here if that helps as well for that piece. So at least it's something that we offer right now.
Yeah, that'd be great. I mean, I don't know if the chat is open. A lot is closed, but if you can send that, to the commissioners, that'd be amazing. And I'll make sure I get that out to
Okay,
go for at least. Thank
At
you.
the very least, you can send it via the chat to one of the
Yeah.
commissioners. So that should be good.
Per OANC, you might have missed this, Claudette, but per OANC, an open chat creates a second concurrent meeting, which is out of order. And so their guidelines were to have the chat available for the hosts and then the co-hosts that can see everything that's being said, and then we can repost.
Yeah, I mean, that's good for the community to know.
I've said it in a bunch of different, in probably the last 3 or 4 meetings, that's been said and explained. And the guidance came from OANC, so. I'm gonna move on to the resolution, Commissioner Rothman, supporting UDC's ongoing work to protect its tree canopy. I know within the resolution and by verbally, although she wasn't able to be here, that Kathy Sykes has really appreciated her the UDC's work on protecting the tree canopy. I think it's really an unusual and special activity that they're doing.
Oh, great. Thank you so much for unmuting me. Sorry about that. Yes, so I'm happy to share a resolution in support of UDC's efforts to protect and care, for this special tree canopy. And I want to shout out thank you to Director Juanita Gray and Professor Kelly Russo-Petrick for consulting on this resolution. So yeah, UDC has taken some really great steps, like forming the Tree Canopy Advisory Committee and creating a campus tree care plan. And it's been reviewed by a professional arborist. They're even getting recognition from the Arbor Day Foundation for the work. And some of the trees still need attention. There's some invasives, some dead trees and some ivy. This resolution, encourages UDC to keep up the great momentum by working with a licensed arborist and finding ways to involve the community. I volunteered with Kathy the other week, and it was great pulling up ivy. And we really see this as a great example for other urban campuses. So this resolution affirms ANC3F's support for UDC's environmental leadership and our, shared interest in preserving this important forest. And yes, Kathy gave us a statement.
Can I call on Commissioner Bear, please?
Oh, yes.
We're after 9. Sorry, I want to.
Sorry.
Amy, I want to thank you for your efforts. Kathy, on the line, I want to thank you. I move that we pass this resolution.
All in favor? Aye. That's all 6 commissioners present. The resolution passes with our gratitude for the partnership of UDC. It's really important. Thank you so much. Thanks to our UDC fam on the phone. I'm going to move on to Commissioner Iglesias and the flagship car wash traffic and public space resolution. Go for it, Adrian.
Yeah, this is a long-standing neighborhood issue if you're near Van Ness at all, but the crux of the resolution is that although occasionally Flagship Car Wash does post an employee out to help mediate the traffic issue, it's very inconsistent and just continues to be an issue. The issue being that traffic coming into the car wash wraps around Connecticut up Albemarle, and then folks trying to make a right onto Connecticut are stuck behind traffic, which actually isn't traffic, but rather a line of customers waiting to go into the car wash. And so the resolution's effectively calling on MPD, the mayor, mostly MPD and the mayor, but when businesses are occupying public space and or impeding public way, they're generally required to have a permit from the mayor to operate. So just calling on the mayor to get Flagship Car Wash a permit if they're continuing to occupy public space and or impede public way at that intersection, for example. And also MPD to just enforce things like the no standing and no parking signs, which are directly in front of the car wash and in front of Breadfirst, which the car wash's line of customers tend to sort of cross the threshold of pretty frequently. But yeah, I think that gives a sort of recap of the resolution.
Adrian, I want to thank you for that resolution. I move that we pass this resolution.
All in favor?
Aye.
That's all 6 unanimous commissioners present. The resolution is passed. The next is a request for a recycling can at Forest Hills Park. I don't know, I guess I can speak to this briefly. This is an ongoing issue where ANC has tried to work with Good Clean Fun and neighborhood stakeholders and a lot of people who've commented on it and DPR about trying to get some maintenance issues handled in the park. Those issues also concern, like, the basic facts that, like, you get a lot of little leaguers there, and there's just not enough trash receptacles, especially recycling. So Good Clean Fun asked us to again support their work in amplifying a request that they have made, I think several times, to DPR, DGS, and the powers that be. And this is a result of that. I'd like to move that we would take a vote on the resolution.
Second.
All in favor of passing the resolution request for recycling can at Forest Hills Park?
Aye.
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 I believe that's all 6 commissioners present. Now we are, I'm sorry, I think we have to add, I think I need to make a motion to just add this one additional vote, and that is for a grant for the grant request for the Fringe Festival. They submitted a grant, and because of the timing and OANC's review, it did not make it on the agenda. I'd like to move that we add the consideration of their grant request to the agenda right now, if that is acceptable to everyone, because that is a timely matter.
Second.
Yes,
Yes.
but Commissioner Carlson, there's.
Did I do
also-
that? Did I do that incorrectly?
No. There is also the outstanding grant from Good Clean Fun regarding the,
Oh.
those two things.
Yeah, I think we tabled the Good Clean Fun to September, I think.
Okay.
Because, if I'm not right about that, if you want to present it, that's fine. I'm sorry. I might have misunderstood email traffic on that. My understanding was, I guess I've lost the stream here. I thought that was not done, but you're right. I guess OANC did then agree that grant was moving forward. So
allowable.
why don't I let you, as the treasurer, introduce these two, if you wouldn't mind, because
Actually,
there was a lot to be added.
in consultation with OANC, we do not have to add these to the agenda. They can be done under commission business and the treasurer's
Oh,
report.
okay, great. Thanks so much.
So-
Sorry.
No, that's okay.
My always in my efforts to be to do.
No worries, no worries. Is now an appropriate time? Should we do this now?
I think here we are. Here we
Okay.
are, treasurer. It's the treasurer's report. A little
Okay.
all
right.
past time,
Well,
but
Unfortunately,
should we start with those
Commissioners,
grants?
I have a lot in the treasurer's report. I think the first thing is that I should give you the treasurer's report for June. We had an opening balance of 54,192.87. There were some taxes paid to both Uncle Sam and the state of Virginia. We had some administrative office expenses. There was a grant that we had agreed on to Edmund Burke School that was issued, and another grant to Van Ness Main Street that we had also voted on and agreed to. Those expenses, including bank fees, but also adding in the interest to our account. There was $6,523.66 in expenses, bringing our balance at the end of June to $47,669.21. I'd like to ask if any commissioner has any questions about those expenses or would like further elaboration on anything that I just said. Great.
Thank you.
If there are no questions, then I move to have the commission approve the June treasurer's report.
Second.
All in favor? That's 6. All commissioners present vote in favor.
Great. Okay. Now, given that the commission understands now our financial standing as of the end of June, there are some things that we need to discuss. First, the 2 outstanding grants. One was for $10,000 to District Fringe. The other is $3,000 to Good Clean Fund. As we begin this discussion, I want to point out that our ANC has given currently this year just a little over $6,000 in grants. And there was $10,000 allocated in the fiscal year 2025 budget. I understand that we are not tied to that amount, that we can allocate more money through a vote of our commission, but I just wanted to give that information to everyone before we start our discussions. $10,000 would, for District Fringe, let's talk about them first. $10,000 would be the largest grant this commission has ever given.
I would I would just like to step in as somebody who is helping, who encouraged them to apply for the grant. I think that what makes most sense to me and what would be most helpful to them, based off the most current knowledge, is that they are having to pay UDC right around $5,000 in rent for the spaces, and that is after UDC has given them a really great discount on the spaces. So however close we can meet them at 5,000, I think would be more than helpful to them, and also a very fair amount based off of previous things. And also given the scale of the event, and the fact that both them and Van Ness Main Street seem very eager to make this a regular thing past this year and have it come back next year to be a sort of neighborhood thing.
Thank you, Adrian. For commission and community awareness, UDC has given a 65% reduction in space fees to District Fringe. And that roughly, it's a little over $5,000 that they're charging District Fringe now. That represents the discounted amount. Are there any members of the commission that wish to, side in favor of 5 or against 5? I mean, I just want to stimulate discussion before I start a motion.
I had thought that 10 was high, given my conversations with Adrian, who's deeply involved in this. I think that the Fringe has and is continuing to bring tremendous value to the neighborhood, and as it will, hopefully happen again next year and be a recurring thing. I think our support at $5,000 makes sense, again, because of the, what it covers.
Right. Understood.
Anybody else? I'm open to discussion.
Yeah, I happen to feel the same. There have been a lot of heavy subjects that this commission has had to deal with the past few months, and I will say that it has given me great pleasure to see the joy that District Fringe has brought to the Avenue and this commission, and like my outlook and my life. So thank you, Adrian, very much.
Yeah, for your piece in that. Absolutely. Thanks.
Yeah,
for bringing that up.
yeah. But anyway, does anyone else have any discussions? Amy or Commissioner Rothman, Commissioner David, Commissioner Bear?
I move that we vote to approve a $5,000 grant to District Fringe.
Second,
All in
All in
favor?
favor?
Aye.
Aye. That's all 6 commissioners present voting in favor of the grant.
Okay, the second grant is Good Clean Fun has approached us to fund a series of concerts at Forest Hills Playground involving musicians from the Washington Conservatory of Music. They charge $1,000 for each concert. Good Clean Fun would like to host 3 of those. My feeling here is that I don't know how many commissioners are aware, but there is a very active Jazz in the Park program that's run by DPR. And currently this season, this summer, there has been only one location chosen in Ward 3, and that was Palisades. And I do happen to know that Good Clean Fun, Tracy Zorpet, Marilyn Francis, they have both approached sort of the powers that be at DPR to sort of get Forest Hills Playground elevated to be considered as one of those locations in 2026. So what I was thinking was that perhaps we could give Good Clean Fun a $2,000 grant so they could do 2 concerts, and then they could use that as sort of test case to see how our community supports those, and then that would give them additional data to support their ask of DPR to consider them for the citywide program next year. Does anyone have any thoughts about that?
I think that it's a wise way to proceed, and I move that we give $2,000 to them.
I second that.
All in favor? Great.
All 6 commissioners present
Okay.
voting yes.
Okay,
To support the grant.
given that we have just now awarded $7,000 in grants, we also need to make a motion to reallocate some money into our fiscal year 2025 grants budget to cover these expenses. So, let's see. Okay. So we would need approximately, I think it would be safe if this would also give us some further leverage for the rest of the year. I think that I would like to make a motion that we reallocate $5,000 into the grant budget line item to cover these grants and then any other future grant activity that might come before the commission prior to December.
Second,
All in favor? That's all 6 commissioners present voting in favor.
Great. Okay, thank you. There are also two other things that I need to talk to you about as treasurer tonight. One is that I would like to make a motion that the commission hire legal counsel to represent us in the Canna Art protest proceedings. Commissioner Carlson and I have done some research on attorneys. We have interviewed several. There is one, Sundeep Hora, who has a great background in representing civic associations in DC regulatory matters. In full disclosure, he has never done anything before ABCA before, but he and his law firm, he's a founding partner of the firm, he and his partners and his associates have business before DC agencies regularly. His fees are $700 an hour. And in our conversations with him, he has indicated that his fees will not exceed $17,000 to $20,000 representing us. So this would be a significant expenditure for us, and I think that we should have a discussion about it. I did see surprise on Commissioner David's face, so I would love to hear from her thoughts. And I am prepared to absolutely tell everyone why I think this is a good idea. But I'd rather hear from you guys first before I launch into my.
Can I ask a quick question? So that we're not putting the cart before the horse. If I may, I'd like to explain that, several months ago when this process was occurring, and I felt like this is a very legal process. And as you see, and may have heard today, the applicants have a lawyer. I'm not a lawyer. Sue's not a lawyer. I don't believe, if I'm not mistaken, that any of us are lawyers. Some commissions have lawyers on their commission. I do feel like, again, if you could see, I think the process would be, anyway, I called OANC and I said, I feel like this is a complicated process for people who are doing this as a part-time job on a volunteer basis. And I feel like I need some help. And they said, there is a technical assistance fund for which you can apply to get some help. So I just wanted to sort of introduce the fact that the reason this came to be, was because of that, and that there are some ANC funds which will OANC funds that will be a part of this. But I think that is an important thing to say before the discussion begins, because the whole genesis of it was, hey, we know you might be a little overwhelmed by this. We know you might not understand this process. There are people who understand this process that the ANC, and I don't think I'm misrepresenting, said should look to for help when issues get this big.
Let me jump in here and say that concurrent with my wanting to bring a motion to the commission about hiring an attorney, there's also another resolution that we have to consider, and I sent that all to your inboxes today, and it is a resolution that allows the commission to apply for the funds in the exact way that Commissioner Carlson describes. OANC has a expert assistance fund, and they offer grants in $5,000 increments to help commissions in areas where none of the commissioners have any expertise. Zoning is one, or land use is another, and legal is also included in that category. Passing this resolution would enable me as the treasurer to submit an application to that fund to receive an initial $5,000. And once that was approved and then expended, we would be allowed to apply again with no actual promise or assurance that a second would be given, but there is that option. And I have been in touch with the Office of the OANC to understand this process and to understand what the likelihood is that we would be granted this. And they have been very helpful, and they have walked me through the exact way that we need to go about this in order to be able to produce correct documentation and meeting minutes and everything that shows that the ANC understood what it was doing and was committed to following protocol. So although these two things are tied together, the first vote that we need to have is if we agree to hire counsel. And then once we agree to hire counsel, then we need to pass the resolution that will enable me to apply to the OANC for these funds. Commissioner Carlson is right. They're both together, but as a matter of voting, that we have to vote on one before we vote on the other. But I'm happy to answer any questions about that fund. I've all of a sudden become an expert on like this whole fund and what we have to do and where the money comes from and all that kind of stuff. So I'm happy to answer any questions that anyone has.
My quick 2 cents as somebody who is slightly removed from it is that the Kennard situation is dragged on for quite a while, and it's hit the point where, especially if they have legal representation, it's becoming a huge time sink for lots of people, evidently. And at this point, we just need somebody to tell us if it's worth pursuing or worth dropping and grinning and bearing it. And I think that's the point we're at. And I think part of why I'm more willing to accept it is that, as I understand, the OANC grants that are available to give us legal help and or technical help can exceed $10,000. Not that it's going to be a huge grant necessarily, but they do apparently have a fair amount of funds to offer us. And so it seems like we would be able to at least not entirely take it out of our budget if we do this thoughtfully. But I do think that without the legal help, if we're not going to pursue that avenue, then I think it's very worth taking a moment to sit down and talk about how much we want to pursue challenging this and protesting it, because it's been many months and we're not making much significant progress, which is, anyways, I think,
And
yeah,
it
my
could
point's been
be,
made.
I totally agree with you, Commissioner Iglesias, because it could be a waste not only of this commission's time, but an underrepresentation of the interests of our constituents. And I don't really feel good about that. I think we all want to be good stewards. So I'm sorry, I cut Commissioner Carlson. Were you going to say something? I'm sorry.
No, I guess, I mean, I think my my views are known on this pretty broadly, but you know, at any turn here, it would help to have a better understanding of how these laws work. You know, to me, this was a cut and dried case of, you know, a cited warning outside of the safe harbor. And that may not, you know, we need someone to help us understand what the implications are of what the citation. I mean, if the citation wasn't a citation, I don't understand that. You know, this is just stuff that a lawyer needs. They have a lawyer that has advised them at every step of the way. So you know, I don't think we, I would hope not to use very much of the lawyer's time. I think that you know, it's not reams of documents. It's like pretty organized, what's occurred so far, even though it's been a long road. And I think it would be, you know, I think it would just serve the community
Commissioner
best to
Carlson,
represent.
Commissioner Carlson has actually done a yeoman's job in consolidating all of the documents that an attorney would need. And I do feel that, again, that's showing the commission's commitment to responsibly using the money and being a good steward, and not just dumping this into an attorney's lap and expecting them to solve it for us, but being our partner in figuring it out, and then also in helping us educate ourselves when in this, God forbid, ever happens again.
I mean, I think it
Yes.
is, I think that that's actually, I'm sorry, it's not my turn, but this is not the first, and it's not going to be the last. So
I
we,
know.
it's also a very, and
Can we start talking about District Fringe again? That was much more fun.
I know.
I'm sorry. Okay,
and
Commissioner
DOE, and DOE,
Rossman has a
yeah,
question.
yeah.
Amy, did you have a question? Yeah, I think you have to unmute her. Okay.
Hi.
There you go.
Yeah, so thank you for doing all the research on this and all the work behind the scenes. I really appreciate how you've been transparent with me, answered a lot of my questions, explained things in a transparent manner. And I agree, we don't have the expertise in this right among us, and our neighborhood clearly cares about this topic, as I think we saw tonight. I think it's great that there's this technical assistance fund. It seems tailor-made for this type of thing, and I'm in favor of it.
Are you in favor of both? You're in favor of hiring an attorney and then also applying for the grant funds?
Yes.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Does anyone else have anything? Commissioner Bear?
I will say that I know what I know and I know what I don't know. And in this case, I don't know. And so I'm in favor of both resolutions.
Thank you. I wholeheartedly agree with you. Any other comments from any other commissioners before I make a motion?
Yeah, do you want to make a motion?
Okay, I'm going to make a motion first that
If you are representing.
Oops, sorry. My one of my other screens just started playing
Okay.
an old YouTube of an old
old ABCA hearing, right? Okay, I make a motion that the commission approves the hiring of legal counsel to represent us in the Canna Art protest proceedings at an amount not to exceed $20,000 without consultation as an entire commission.
Second.
All in favor? That's all commissioners present, 6 voting in favor.
Great, thank you. Now, the second motion that I will make is that I'd like to pass the resolution. I'm going to get the name of it. Hold on. That I would like to.
I opened it, Sue.
Oh, you did. Okay,
oh.
great. The resolution, yeah, in support of ANC. Yeah.
3F. Resolution in support of ANC3F application for an Office of Advisory Neighborhood Commission's Expert Assistance Fund grant.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
I
Okay.
can still read at this hour. Barely.
No, exactly. So, all in
second.
okay, great. Thank you. All in favor of passing this resolution?
That's 6, all commissioners present vote in favor of passing the resolution seeking an expert assistance fund grant.
Great. Perfect. That includes the treasurer's business for June. Oh, yes, Commissioner Bear.
For July.
Oh, right, for
and
July.
June,
Well, I
guess.
mean,
Well,
like, right,
yeah,
yeah,
right.
exactly. Yep, sorry. You know what I meant.
Yeah. Let the record state all June and July treasurer business
I
is
know, right?
well worked on.
Yes, exactly. Commissioner Bear?
I went to the post office box today and I have a letter from the IRS that I need to bring to you. I intend to drop it off at your house tomorrow, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, that's great.
Thanks so much.
Really
All
nice of the
right,
IRS.
I'm gonna, the ANC3F will not meet in August. much to everyone's dismay, I'm
So
sure.
that's why we're meeting so long tonight, because
Thank
we're
you.
gonna
It's
give
like
you
a
off
double.
on-
We're
on-
doing a double.
That's right.
So our next ANC3F meeting will be held on Tuesday, September the 16th at 7 p.m. I am going to move that we adjourn this meeting. I want to thank everyone for sticking in for the long haul. I apologize for the length. I do feel like we had some I feel like it was a productive conversation on a lot of levels. So I want to thank everyone for their thoughtful input.
Yes, yes, it was. I second that motion.
Yeah.
In favor of ending this meeting.
Aye.
That's 5, all commissioners present. I think
Good night.
thought it was readier than the
Yeah.
rest of us.
We're going.
But she knows, like, here's the problem. It's a good thing we have a quorum, because if she hadn't, we didn't have a quorum, we'd still have
We'd
to
still
be here
be
all night,
meeting.
call her back on
Good
the
night,
phone.
y'all. Thanks again to all the stragglers. Thanks again to
Night.
Yara.
Yes, thank
Stay
you,
here so
everyone.
long. We
Thank
see
Good
you.
night.
Bye,
Good night.
everybody.